Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're thrilled to have you here. What's going to be quite an exciting webinar and an insightful session. I'm here with Patrick from MSP Process, and he's got some great content lined up for you around AI, voice assist, and also just improvements to the integration with Halo. So without further ado, Patrick, I'll let you introduce yourself and kick things off.
Awesome. Well, everyone, it's great to be with you, Joe. I appreciate the time today. And a little bit about me. I've operated in MSP for about 20 years in the past. That was sold to what became Purple Guys, and then founded and operated Backup Radar before starting MSP Process. And so MSP Process is really kind of the product we built to fill in a lot of gaps for MSP. So we do a ton more than we'll show here on the demo, but the AI voice assist is definitely something that's taken off for MSPs and gained a lot of traction on our side as well.
Absolutely.
And so without further ado, I'll share my screen. We'll just go through a couple things here. Bear with me just a second.
No worries. And the AI voice assist stuff is very interesting. It's quite exciting as well what you can do with it. And I was just seeing a couple of videos earlier, and I'm quite excited to see what's going to happen live here. Whether or not we do a live call, I'll leave that one up to you, Patrick. It's a risky one to do on a webinar, but
yeah, we may give it a go. Generally, we'll start with before the PowerPoint here. We'll start with just the kind of the AI voice assist call, just so you guys can see what that looks like on a call. If anybody has trouble hearing it, let us know. Like Joe mentioned, I'm also open to doing a live call, so if you guys would like to see that as well, so that there's no smoke and mirrors, it definitely works, as you'll see here.
Just before, could you pause that for a second? I just see that we had a question or was it a hand raised by Kem Demir in the chat there? Kem, did you have a question there that you wanted to pop into the group chat for us? Or potentially the hand being raised might have been an accident as well.
Or maybe they were voting for the live call.
Potentially, yeah, or voting for America as well on where we're calling in from. I'll let you pop it in the group chat, Kem, and I'll let Patrick proceed. Apologies, didn't need to stop you there, Patrick.
Oh, no worries at all.
Hi, Patrick. Thank you for calling MSP Process. This is Grant. How may I help you?
Hi, Grant. I'm having trouble logging into my Microsoft 365.
All right. Sounds like a login issue with Microsoft 365. Let's see what we can do to help you out. To proceed, we need to verify your identity. You can choose between Microsoft Authenticator, Duo, or text message. Which method would you prefer?
Let's use Microsoft Authenticator.
All right. Please open the Microsoft Authenticator app on your device and get ready to approve the request when it appears. Are you ready to proceed with the verification?
I'm ready.
Okay, I have sent your verification. Please approve it, and then we can proceed.
Wow.
Thank you for verifying your identity. Let's continue. Could you tell me a bit more about the issue you're experiencing with logging into Microsoft 365?
Yes, I'm trying to open a document on my computer, and it just keeps saying sign in failed.
Thank you for sharing that. It sounds like you're having trouble opening a document because of the sign-in failure. When did this issue first start?
It first started this morning.
Thanks for letting me know. Have you tried anything to fix it so far?
I've tried restarting my computer and applying some updates, and so far, no luck.
Okay, thanks for trying those steps. Do you already have an existing ticket for this issue?
I don't.
Would you like to receive text message updates on your ticket once it's created?
Yes, that would be great.
Perfect. I'll make sure you get text updates as we work on your ticket. I'm creating a ticket for you. Your ticket number is 2410. Would you like me to repeat that?
No, thanks.
You're welcome. Someone from our team will reach out shortly. You may hang up to end this call, or if you need urgent assistance, I can transfer you to a live agent.
No, thanks. So on the right,
Thank you for calling. Have a wonderful day.
So on the right side here, you'll see the user's already received a text message and they can reply
Yeah.
to that and update the ticket on their side. And on the Halo side, it really is about that fast. As soon as the
Yeah.
is there, they can send messages back and forth, and the transcript is there. The full attachment of the recording is put into the ticket as well. So under the attachments, you see the one. And I'll show you this in the live ticket as well. But that's
That's
how.
fantastic. Yeah, it's like it's instantaneous as well from the like authenticator through to the text message through to updating the ticket or creating the ticket is instant, which is incredible. Wow, and I guess with identity verification around that as well, why is it so important, Patrick? If you could speak to that, as I understand the importance is massive, but from your side.
Yeah, so a couple of things. I think first and foremost, we're trying to help MSPs operate more efficiently. So with the security landscape and the threats that are happening day to day, people trying to compromise an MSP service desk to get access to their system, the identity verification is an automated process that happens or can happen on every inbound call. Whether you choose to have the system do a full ticket like I displayed here, the workflows can be customized, but the security component of that, being able to do a verification, automates a process that doesn't always happen for an MSP. We've seen a broad range of MSPs that have no security practice in place around verifying the identity when their callers call in. Obviously, the MGM hack was facilitated based on that. So it's a real risk to MSPs, and the phishing threats I'll show on the slide here in a minute have gone up tremendously. So having a process in place to verify users, whether it's manual or automated, is an absolute must for MSPs today.
Yeah.
Many aren't doing it, many aren't doing it enough, and so being able to automate the process to make it a little less have a little less friction for the user side, that's important. The other part of verification as it relates to tickets really comes in when we're talking about a user who's calling in that might have an existing ticket. So they can verify their identity before the PSA or the system gives them back any ticket updates or any information about that, or if they want to update their ticket on that call without a technician having to be on the call. So it really helps an MSP increase their operational efficiency as well as provide a more secure service for their customers.
Wow, that's fantastic. And just around the transcript logging as well, that saves a hell of a lot of time to start with, and also you've got the entire conversation on the phone there. Um, yeah, it's just so impressive. And around like AI as well, like the intonation and the pitch and when he's asking questions, the pitch changes. It just sounds so natural. It's a little bit scary as well, but also just so impressive, isn't it?
It really is. It's crazy how good these voices are. And just to give you an idea of what the SMS back and forth is after the ticket, I'll just put a message here. So.
And you're doing this live at the moment.
I'm gonna do this live too, so you guys can see it. See
Oh,
it
it's
live.
so risky, Patrick.
It is indeed, but you see it pop in, testing. Now on the technician
Oh
side,
wow.
oh sorry, let me go back here. So we did get that message really quick. So it's very fast. This is live, yes sir.
Wow.
And on the SMS messaging side of things, oh I'm sorry, that's on our dev system, but on the SMS messaging side of things, the technician can then go and message back and forth with the user. So you can see here, they can send messages right back to the user from Halo, all of that logged here and in the ticket. So fully logged, fully accessible to everything. Oops, sorry, I didn't have my phone there. There you go. So my phone went to sleep on us. It was
Yeah.
rather so you can see just how quick it comes back and forth. Another thing, users from the user side, they can send images or small videos, things like that over SMS back to the system.
Okay.
Those will show up here as well.
Oh,
So
brilliant. So if like your laptop's on fire, you can take a video and show the smoke coming out and pop it on there,
yeah,
or a lovely photo like that. Yeah, that's a way better
yes.
suggestion
So
actually.
we'll do a cute one of my daughter there.
Yeah.
And so sending that, you can see just how
Oh,
it
wow.
popped in and it's available.
That's incredible. And there's also a question in the group chat from Bill Perkins asking, is this live now, or is this in general release now already?
It is indeed. Yes, it's live now. The SMS component that you're seeing here post call with the ticketing, that's live next week. So that one particular part is in development, but it'll go to production next week.
Wow, incredible.
And to kind of give you a little bit more context around what you can do on the MSP process side of things, everything that was done on that call as it relates to verification is also securely logged in our system. So you can see here, there's a full verification history log. So that's useful to MSPs if they're either prospecting new business or want to provide their customers a report of, hey, we are doing the best we can to secure your environments. Here's some logs of your users calling in and things like that. So there's a lot of flexibility around that and policies that you can put in place for that side of things. On the AI voice assist side of things, we do have a full call log history of everything that's happening. So you can see I had this log with ticket ID 2410 and all the information about it, what agent was used, additional details about that call. And what's cool about this is it just gives the tech a lot more information. They can play the call again right from our interface. They can see the sentiment analysis on that, any evaluation that's done. So there's a ton of data that we push back into this call log history as well. Just so that the technician side has a lot more context as well.
Wow. And the person you're speaking to, I have to ask as well, the person you're speaking to, you can change their accents, right? So I could have maybe an Australian accent. Would that be?
1,000%, Joe. We have Australian MSPs today, UK MSPs that are using this.
Fantastic.
We can even do like southern accents for our Texas fans.
Oh, really? Okay.
Carolina. Yeah. So we can customize both the agent's voice and the workflow that an MSP wants. So some MSPs may have a slightly different workflow where maybe they want the verification to be done after the issue is obtained or before the issue is obtained. So we can customize those workflows and publish the agents. We have a ton of flexibility around that, and we're getting asked constantly also about potentially allowing MSPs to resell the agents to their own customers and whatnot. So I think that's a path we'll probably travel as well.
Okay, and you mentioned customizing workflows. Is there a sense of almost sentiment analysis with AI? Can it detect if people are sad, upset, things like that?
That's a great question. So a lot of times when people call in, this is the one challenge around AI is it needs to be able to detect sentiment. And in our case, it can. There's different levels of the agent as well, so you can define some of this stuff. So for example, you may want to have an agent that if it's urgent, always escalate, no troubleshooting, just send it straight through. And this is just some examples of agents that we have here. And it'll detect if the user is upset, if they say, hey, I want an agent now, they don't want to speak with AI, the system's smart enough to just go ahead and transfer them.
Okay. That's very impressive. So if someone is like very unhappy, you can just very quickly or transfer them a bit sooner so they don't be upset speaking to something like AI, speak to an actual technician. That's
exactly right. And then there's, it goes as far as some full troubleshooting, like basically what's available to the LLM, from ChatGPT, for example. What a user calls in with a printer problem, it can walk them through some general steps to try to avoid that ticket even going to a technician. So it can even go that far. That's a beta, but we do have MSPs that are using that in production as well. So it is quite good.
Okay. And I see a question from Bill following up there as well. Is this the same as the existing 3 levels of the product answering now, or is this something different? Is there stages, I guess, or like is it layered in a certain way with which aspects you can purchase?
No, it's for the AI voice, the way we haven't separated any, or we don't charge anything more for the verification components of it because that's really included in our base product. So you have to have Verification Plus or a Pro plan to even get AI voice because so much of this is architected on those platforms. So you have access through verification. We don't charge additional for it. So our AI voice pricing just includes everything. So you can choose what agent you want, whether you want it to do verification or not, and again, we showed kind of the full range there. You could have it where it just creates tickets. It doesn't do the verification if you don't want that part on the workflow. So we can kind of customize that any way you want.
Okay.
Yes, Bill, to your question, it is in general release. So yes, everything you saw with, like I said, the one exception of the SMS, which will go to GR next week.
Fantastic. And you mentioned, is there another video to show, some more content in relation to it?
We do have another one I'll show. Let's see. How are we doing on? It looks like we're good on timing.
We're doing okay on time. Yeah, I can't get enough of the content. It's very impressive.
Appreciate that. So yeah, this one will be a duo call. So for MSPs that have duo out there. Oh, hold on, I muted the tab. Let's try that again. IT guy with technical difficulties, huh?
Hi, Patrick. Thank you for calling MSP Process. This is Grant. How may I help you?
Hi, Grant. I'm having problems with my internet connection.
All right, Patrick. Thanks for letting me know. Let's see what we can do to help. To start, we need to verify your identity. You can use Microsoft Authenticator, Duo, or a text message. Which method would you prefer?
Let's use Duo.
Please open the Duo app on your device and get ready to approve the request when it appears. Are you ready to proceed with the verification?
I'm ready.
Okay, I have sent your verification. Please approve it, and then we can proceed.
Wow.
Thank you for verifying your identity, Patrick. Let's continue. Could you tell me more about the internet connection issue you're experiencing?
It started this morning and it's been up and down ever since.
Okay, so it started this morning and has been inconsistent. Have you tried anything to fix it so far?
I've tried restarting the router and I've also tried restarting my computer and reconnecting to the Wi-Fi, but so far no luck.
Thanks for trying those steps. Do you already have an existing ticket for this issue?
I don't.
Would you like to receive text message updates on your ticket once it's created?
Yes, please.
Perfect. I'll make sure you get text updates as we work on your ticket. Does that work for you?
That does.
Thanks for confirming. I'm creating a ticket for you. Your ticket number is 2406. Would you like me to repeat that?
No thanks.
Someone from our team will reach out shortly. You may hang up to end this call. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
There we go. Ticket is in.
Yeah, tickets in, and it'll, I won't go through the whole thing again there, but effectively it'll do the same thing, creating an SMS channel, showing you the full log of anything that's out there. And so that's a pretty good view of just the AI voice assist. Some of the other things that we could cover as part of this, let's show.
I do have another question as well. I'm so sorry, Patrick.
Oh, go ahead.
On the general uptake of this, like what are the sizings of MSPs using this at the moment? Because I understand it's quite hot off the press at the moment, and a lot of people are quite excited by it. But what is the general uptake?
Yeah, so the general uptake for us, we've released it a couple months ago, and we've had more than 150 MSPs already on it. And they range from really, smaller MSPs all the way up to some of the largest names out there. And it's quite impressive to see just how quickly and how the velocity behind every range of MSPs that's adopting it. And they're doing, and the general feedback has been very similar to I'll share with you kind of Dennis Cockrell's. feedback here. Basically he's like he's so impressed by it. He said it's actually difficult to finalize all the benefits of it. It helps reduce so much of the manual workflow that's done by the users calling in to get a ticket created.
Mm.
So,
Oh, fantastic.
So kind of going through the different use cases here, it really helps with efficiency and productivity, enhancing security, improving client experience. I think that's another great thing to talk about, Joe, is what's kind of the time savings that MSPs see from MSP process on the AI voice. And that's, a typical AI voice call like you saw takes about a minute and a half, whereas that same call with a technician or an administrative assistant having to type in that information generally will take about anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes. So it's a significant time savings in terms of kind of what's available to save the MSP time on that.
Yeah, and I can see that. I mean, just alone from the, I guess, a little bit sad, but the lack of, I guess, conversation with how are you doing today, getting to the point. It will just ask the questions that are relevant, and you will answer those questions, and it avoids kind of spending time and saving agent time as well. You won't have to be on the phone speaking to that person. It's just an AI voice assist doing the work there, and that's going to save a lot of time for the menial inquiries, such as changing passwords and stuff. I see a comment from a Mantis support as well, just asking, can it recognize the caller ID so it can skip the authentication step?
So it can, and if that's part of what you'd like to use just as basic verification, it can definitely do that. That's part of what we do natively. Like you probably heard on the call, when the AI picked up, it greeted me by name. So if your contact is in the PSA, it does a lookup and it will greet that caller by name. So that is one way, and it can also do things like confirm hey, we want to confirm it's you, Patrick Leonard, and this is the best number for you. So it can do things like that as well.
Brilliant.
I wouldn't rely on that, though, to be fair, if I'm being honest, because of the ability for users to spoof those outbound calls. That is a capability of threat actors, and so I would caution whether you would want to use that as the only verification method as part of the call. And kind of going through the different scenarios that MSPs are using this for, we talked about the different range of MSPs. They also use it to replace call centers. So the typical experience from a call center today for after hours calls or lunch, during lunch breaks or things like that, where MSPs will forward their phone calls, the after hours experience leaves a lot to be desired. In general, what happens is the call gets forwarded to an after hours offshore. In general, they answer the call, they take the notes, they email over to somebody at the MSP, or they email in to create a ticket. It has very little context. The ticket's not generated with the right contact and the right person. And so this solves a lot of those challenges too, plus it's more cost effective. And the way we architected MSP process also, we do have on-call scheduling and those types of capabilities where we can intelligently route calls based on who's on call for this AI voice. So we can kind of handle that end to end in terms of what's available for anybody who's on call, not on call, when you can set their schedules, how can auto rotate them. So we can handle that part of it as well. So not just did we create a ticket for you, we can handle the calls and the escalations that come along with that as well. So we can, hey, if the first person doesn't answer, escalate this ticket to somebody else if it's not responded to.
Okay, does the schedule sync to Exchange, I assume, as well, or?
No, it is defined on-call schedules in our system, so there's not a sync to Exchange or anything like that. But it is, it does have a lot of utility around group schedules, and we use, there's also in addition to that, notification groups. So when something is happening, we can send notifications to a Teams channel, to an SMS, and so, or really you name it, email, voice call. There's just a ton of things that we can do with our our notification system. I'll kind of show you that just so you have a quick view of that too.
Yeah, it's very handy for managing resource in that sense then with the MSP process schedule as well.
Yeah, so anything that can be handled for an on-call schedule can be tied to a notification schedule. And again, we can create a ticket for you, send an SMS, create a Slack or a Teams channel. We can even call that tech if the call's not routed through automatically from the AI voice. So, if you have, depending on what the MSP's process is, we can generally handle just about any use case.
Oh, fantastic. I could see
Got a few
we had a
questions.
couple questions, from Manta support as well. So initially, around recognizing caller IDs, and you mentioned obviously it probably might not be a great idea to just do that. Is there the possibility of doing steps like caller ID for simple requests and then authentication apps for PW
Yeah.
changes, which I assume might be P1 changes?
Exactly. So yes, we could customize workflows like that too. We could also, and to give you some ideas of where we're going, because we can do the verification component, is we'll integrate in the near future with Roost and PIA to kick off automations to, like, user calls in and says, "Hey, I need my password reset." Much like you guys are doing in Halo, we'll be able to do that with AI voice, right? Kick off some sort of automation to run, reset that user's password, and do it all automated without ever having to hit a help desk.
Okay, and then the next question is around pronunciation of unique names as well. Like, John and Mary are easy, but Satya and Nadella, I assume. If I'm pronouncing
Yeah,
them wrong, apologies.
yeah. So no secrets here. Like we use the different voices, unless and we have built a few custom ones, but in general, we're using libraries of voices that exist on platforms like 11 Labs, Cartesia, some of the popular voice things out there. So there are literally thousands of agents available that, if one agent doesn't do well with specific pronunciations, we could certainly pick an agent that does well, depending on what it is that, one agent might struggle with, the other may do perfectly well.
Brilliant. And a question in the question Q&A section as well to Leslie around can it switch to a live person if it's an urgent matter or the client is really upset, which you kind of touched on earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll detect emotion. If the client's upset, it can transfer the call automatically. That's part of our normal workflow anyway, with most of the agents you saw there. So it can absolutely just go ahead and transfer it. And you have control over how that happens under the AI voice assist. You can determine right in the configuration where this call is going to transfer to.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
Yeah, and to cover just a few things here, in addition to agent type, you can set the greeting message. You can have it use variables like company name, agent name, first name. Closing message can use those same variables, and you can customize that inbound message, the greeting, as well as the outbound message before they hang up. Those messages can be customized to really whatever you like there. And then the ticketing profile, where we store the tickets, you can set up the profile so that these tickets go exactly where you want them to go in your queues for Halo.
Brilliant. And then another question jumping in as well. Where is the verification part turned on? I assume the configuration of it.
Yep, right here in the configuration, you see agent type. There's an end user verification one. And since I'm sharing my screen here, you can see this is on our production system. So it is live and in production. What's coming there, I didn't show this on the demo, but it can also do, if you don't have Authenticator or Duo, it can also send an SMS link to the user as well. And to kind of give you a sense of what that looks like, let me just share my phone again here. Windows and Mac don't always play well. So we do things on the verification side of things, and this is available to your technician, like for inbound calls that aren't going through AI voice assist, for example. I can do something like a customized SMS link, and the user side will get a link that they can click, and that's brandable for your MSP. You can customize the logo and the look and feel here, and they just hit validate. And that will verify their identity. You can see in the pod, they verified their identity. The same thing happens over AI voice. This will go into production next week as well. So a user could, could verify their identity right from the phone number on file using something like this. That's quick, where during the call they can just switch to the message, hit the link, verify their identity just like they would Duo or Microsoft, and go right back to it. Additionally, they'll be able to verify their identity over Teams as well. So we already have that natively built in where you could send them a Teams code or a Teams link to verify their identity too.
Fantastic. There's so many great features in here. And I guess another question from my side would be, what is the scope for the future? Where do you see this going with improvements?
Yeah, so I think our future for AI voice, like I said, is some of it will be automation based. What can we do for the AI voice, reset a password for a user or unlock an account? Those are probably the two most common scenarios that come up for MSPs that a voice agent could handle. But in addition, we're really tying all of this in and as it relates to a communication system in terms of what's available to an MSP, where they'll have access to chat over Teams with a user and back and forth over SMS. So no matter what channel they're communicating on, all that information will be available to the tech, and it makes it easy for the user to update it from any of those channels as well. And if we have a minute, there's also tech verification. So this is another interesting area where we do have a patent pending for this. And that is, a lot of time, what's happening now is really a lot of MSPs are seeing their users get called, but they have no way to verify that it's actually the technician. So the MSPs are getting impersonated by threat actors, and the users are easily tricked into giving out access to their machines or doing something that compromises the network or credentials. So tech verification is another way we can handle that. And that's available through Teams or through here, where a user can simply just hit a button. Let me see if I've got access to show you something on Teams here.
Doing a live demonstration, are we?
Always fun. So this is our Teams integration where, and again, this is available to Halo users as well, where if a user is calling in, they can just hit verify technician, and that will send that request through, and the technician side will have to have the matching digits to be able to verify their identity, if you can see that.
Right.
So this is a way easily for users to verify identity, update tickets and whatnot from Teams. And so all of that is tied in here as well.
And we have a couple of questions from Bill around verification as well. Because initially Bill asked, where is the verification part turned on? And he's followed on with, so if you don't use levels, if you use verification.
Yeah, so any of those levels could be matched with the verification. So if you want a specific agent level with including verification, that's easy to do on our side. So that's, it's really a matter of how you'd like the workflow to be, but we could certainly customize that to your liking there.
There we go. Awesome. Wow, there's a lot of exciting content going on here as well. And it's, I guess, there's a lot of rapid kind of advancements going on with AI technology. I just find it very interesting that the out of hours support piece would just be, you wouldn't need to have the use of a call center. It would just be at any time you can do this level of service, and it will maintain consistent within each point as well. I guess the sun doesn't set on MSP process in that sense, which is really valuable to use that saying.
No doubt. And that's really like all of the things that we're building at MSP Process. When you ask about what's next, is really focused on an MSP's workflow and, giving them the tools to really automate as much as possible as it relates to communication, AI voice, verification, things like that. Just the very critical components of an MSP's workflow. And tying those all nicely together, allowing the MSP to automate even after hours calls, or using an agent to prevent calls from going to voicemail. So we see a range of MSPs that'll use this for after hours. They'll use it sometimes for avoiding calls going to voicemail, because that's a terrible experience for the technicians. They've got to listen to the voicemail, then they've got to create the ticket manually. So anything you can do to avoid that, it's better experience for the customer and a better experience for your technicians. So if you have calls going to voicemail, for sure, this would fit there at a minimum. And then after hours, and we have MSPs, like I mentioned, that are just using it completely.
Yeah, and it works quite well with Halo as well, I suppose, because well, first of all, you're on the forefront of technology here with this AI voice piece, but it's the instantaneous updating with a seamless integration with another solution that's fast moving, intelligent, and also at the top end of, software configuration. It's just a really nice pairing. I know we're both quite like-minded organizations, MSP Process and Halo, we work together quite well. But it's just nice to see a pairing that works so seamlessly with an integration.
Yeah, and you could see just when we were on the calls that just how quickly it updated the ticket. That speaks to just how awesome Halo's API is and enabling us to get information there quickly. And so your techs have that. There's some other features that we really haven't talked about too, like warm transfers. So we can even, before a call is transferred to a technician, give that technician context about the ticket number, information about that ticket before it's transferred. So we do have that capability as well.
Oh, fantastic. I guess around, you've got security in there, client experience, business scalability as well, which is quite important around the 24/7 piece. I guess I don't really see the negative side of that. With, I guess, the return on investment then, what would you say is the biggest ROI you're receiving from MSP processes integration? Apologies, you might have had some background noise there, so you might have muted in the meantime there, Patrick.
Yep, sorry about that. Had a little background noise there. What was the question again, Joe?
Just like the kind of main, I guess, ROI that you're receiving from it, where would you see this kind of within an MSP using it?
Yeah, so it's certainly tremendous in terms of the ROI. It basically automates that process of triage that an MSP typically has, where somebody's got to take those calls, the return on investment. We do have a calculator on the website for looking at this as well. So you can kind of get an idea of what the ROI is just by going to our AI voice section here. Let's see. And it'll give you kind of a view of what that looks like, depending on the number of agents, what their hourly rates are, volume of tickets. And so you can generate a pretty good idea of what the ROI of the AI voice assist would be for you.
Yeah, and client experience is so important, and this speaks to that really.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, is there, I guess, any other mentionable or honourable mentions in relation to MSP process? I know we have 5 minutes left, which we normally jump into a Q&A section, but before I do so, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, is there any kind of honourable features to mention?
I mean, there's probably a ton that we could cover additionally on a demo, but I think just the tools that you see on AI voice assist and just the capabilities of verification, the things we do centered around communication with SMS and whatnot. So a lot of those things are available to the technician in the Halo pod as well.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, there's a lot of content covered there. Very, very exciting updates to your features as well. And also the integration being so seamless, I think is a massive sell. But I guess a question to the people watching, any questions for us around MSP process and Halo as well? I can see we have a call to action there, slide to be shared too, a QR code to schedule a tailored demo. But does anyone watching have any questions around the integration or the functionality? Or have we covered everything? Why'd you look at that? Might have a silent group chat for the first time ever right at the end. I mean, we have covered a lot of questions along the way. I'll leave it to about 42 minutes past just to ensure no one is typing very slowly. But does anyone have any questions around the functionality, guys? There we go. Just I guess a note from Leslie saying this is great. Thank you.
Glad you could join us, Leslie. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Leslie, for that. Any other questions, guys? Any broad questions? How was my day? Am I looking forward to Easter bank holiday? No. There we go. A question from Chris Williams, and also Enrique just saying keep up the great work as well. Thank you, Enrique.
Thanks.
A question from Chris there. How does this handle issues that may not route into tickets, for example, other side of the businesses, or users calling in for a person?
Yeah, so we can definitely create custom agents for that as well. So really, if you have a business need for things like that, we could certainly create a customized agent that can do some of that for you as well. We don't have any today natively that I could show you on a demo, but we certainly can create that kind of logic for you as well. It's not that part isn't really difficult.
Wonderful. And then a question from Mantis support as well. Are calls handled through YARL? Are calls handled through YARL or through our own phone system like 8x8 or Nextiva?
Yeah, so your first, obviously, I mean, you can certainly have calls come to us first and then go to your own phone system, but I think the traditional flow we see is the calls either go to us or go to the MSP's phone system. If they're going to the MSP's phone system, they'll route, things like if somebody's in queue for a certain period of time, route that to AI, or if it's after hours, or if it's voice, different scenarios. Generally speaking, a lot of MSPs will route it from their system first to us, which makes sense. They have control of it. But we do have a fair number that use this all in that, hey, we're basically the only system, and it creates the tickets and they work the tickets as soon as they're created.
Fantastic. And apologies everyone in advance for my accent there. That was really bad. A question from Mark Harris too. Any issues when using MS Teams for all calling?
No, as long as you have the traditional lines and teams, yep, should be fine.
Awesome. I can see Leslie didn't mind the accent there. That's okay then. Awesome.
He almost nailed the y'all part.
I've been to Texas twice, guys.
I'm
But
from
anyway.
Louisiana, so you hear that all day long here.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, I guess that's all the content covered for today, and no other questions in the group chat. So I guess we can finish that a couple of minutes early. I can start the bank holiday early and go for a beer at a local pub. I really do appreciate everyone's time today. Thank you all for watching, and thank you, Patrick, as well. You've been a star, showing some fantastic features.
Thanks, appreciate all your time today as well.
No worries at all. Well, mainly the content was all yours, but you did a fantastic job. And thank you, Philip. I will enjoy the beer as well. But yeah, without further ado, thanks for your time, guys. Closing off.
Thanks, John. Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers.